The Doors were the band of the late 60s, with hit singles such as Light My Fire and Riders on the Storm, headline concerts and albums in the top 10.
Los Angeles has had more than its fair share of legendary young talent. Those iconic youths who live fast and die young, yet are immortalized in music and film.
One of the best known of these tragic figures is Jim Morrison, who was born on the East Coast but moved to the West and made it his home. He is still loved and remembered by his fans worldwide through his poetry, image, and music.
It's said that the Doors belonged to LA and LA belonged to the Doors. Lead singer Jim Morrison immortalized the city with the song LA Woman, but does his ghost linger along with his lyrics? Jim Morrison's death of an apparent heart attack robbed the world of a unique talent. The Doors' enigmatic frontman died in the bathroom of his Paris apartment at the age of 27. But it's the streets of LA that he called his home, and it's here that our investigation begins. I went to meet Henry Dilts, a photographer and friend to Jim Morrison. Would he give us some clues as to where to find his spirit?
You photographed him, the famous photograph in the Morrison Hotel. What was that like?
You know, the Doors had called my partner Gary and I to come in and talk about pictures for an album. Then Ray spoke up and said, my wife Dorothy and I were just driving and we saw this hotel with a big window that said Morrison Hotel. So we got down there and talked to the guy at the desk. He said, oh no, you can't do that. So we went outside and I thought, well, maybe I'll just have him sort of stand against the window on the outside. And while I was thinking that, I was looking through the window and I saw the guy get in the elevator and go up, leave the desk. So I said, quick, run in there and just get behind the window. So I grabbed my camera and took one roll of film. So I backed up and we got the whole window and nobody even saw us do it.
So what was Jim like as a person?
He was an observer. He liked to drink in the situation. He liked to, you know, watch people and sort of, you know, see what was going on. He was bemused. You know, the days that I spent with him when we were shooting photos, he was very quiet. And he would look, and he was very attentive to things. And if you'd talk to him, I mean, he'd kind of smile and, you know, little smile and nod his head.
We're looking for Jim's spirit. Where do you think we would best find it?
Well, I would think that he'd want to hang out in the places where he lived, you know, and where he, you know, where he had his good times and partied and stuff, you know.
There are many conspiracy theories regarding how Jim Morrison died. Was it really a heart attack, a drug overdose, or something more sinister? Some fans even think he faked his own death. Chris was keen to meet Brett Meisner, a man who believes he has evidence that Jim Morrison's spirit can be seen.
So, Brett, tell me, you have a photograph which may very well prove that Jim Morrison is really dead.
That is correct. I was at Jim's grave in Paris. I decided, you know, I'll take a photograph. There's a lot of crowds there, and I asked one of them to snap a picture. Thought nothing of it. Brought it back years later. My assistant pointed out, if you look in this photo to my right as you're looking at it, you see something there. It is the image of a man who appears to be wearing pants, perhaps leather pants. It surprised me. You know, I got goosebumps when it sank in as to what I was looking at. I'm not scared by anything. This photo made me think twice.
You know, Brett, I've seen actually a lot of photographs before of ghosts and stuff like that, and I've got to tell you, this is pretty good. Now, do you think that Jim Morrison was a spiritual person at all?
Oh, Jim's whole career, his life was all about spirituality, driven by an incident that happened to him when he was a young child, driving with his family. A truckload of Navajo Indians hit head-on with another truck, and a young Jim Morrison, 5 or 6 years old, was passing by and saw this terrible accident. And in that transformation, in seeing that, Jim said his life was ever changed. He felt from that day forward, the spirit of the Indian had become one with Jim's spirit.
Who or what was this that had appeared beside Jim Morrison's grave? A shadow? A trick of the light? But it looks very much like the form of a man, and a man who looks very much like Jim.